Once the weather starts getting nice, we love to take our hobbies, events, and gatherings outside. One of my favorite places to visit at this time of year are vineyards and wineries. Vineyards and wineries provide flavorful, diverse wines while also creating an experience for customers. But it's important that while we are appreciating this wine and enjoying it, we also have an understanding of the winemaking process and how wine does in fact bring people together. Today we are at Blue Ridge Estate Vineyard and Winery in Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania. We'll be hanging out with the owner Randy and learning all about how Blue Ridge plants and harvests and the winemaking process. We will also learn more about Randy's podcast, the Blue Ridge Wine Club, and about everything that Blue Ridge has to offer. So today we're going to be learning a lot. So come along with me and let's go Agventuring. Hi everyone, I'm Tess the Agriculturalist and welcome back to Agventures. In this episode of Agventures, we are at Blue Ridge Estate Vineyard and Winery, and we are here to see the behind the scenes of vineyard production and operations, as well as dive into the concept of agritourism at a vineyard. But before we get into it, let's get an overview of Blue Ridge. The mission of Blue Ridge Winery is to simply add value to others. Their ultimate goal is to create world-class wines served in a pristine and comfortable setting. When Randy and Tiffany took a trip to the West Coast, they were absolutely captured by the beauty of the expansive vineyards and magnificent wineries, thus creating the foundation for Blue Ridge Estate Vineyard and Winery. The couple's vision was to create this relaxing, elegant, yet informal experience where handcrafted small batch wines could be enjoyed. Blue Ridge Winery is located within the countryside of Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania, and is on top of a hill overlooking the vineyards. The winery also features a 17,000 square foot wine tasting facility that is state-of-the-art with a full wraparound deck. These features create a wonderful experience where our customers can take in entire vineyards and the rolling Pocono Mountains. The ultimate goal is that customers can relax with friends and enjoy a glass of wine while taking in the scenery. Blue Ridge also provides immersive experiences for wine drinkers. The exclusive Enjoy Life Wine Club allows customers to enjoy Blue Ridge wines all throughout the year without leaving the comfort of their home. The club membership also gives members the opportunity to learn more about the wines and have experiences. Additionally, Blue Ridge offers an experience called the Underground Experience, where the experience lasts approximately 90 minutes but will feel like 5. Customers can taste some of the best wines that are paired with not only light and sound, but also powerful emotions. Randy also has his own podcast called Living on Purpose. On this platform, Randy discusses success not only in business, but also with family and yourself. His ultimate goal is to spread the message of positivity to individuals who are in need of it. One of the most important aspects of a winery is the planting and harvesting process. It's extremely important that the right varieties and selections are grown to fulfill the needs of the vineyard and the winemaker's preferences as well. I'm standing here today with Randy, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about planting and harvesting the vineyards here at Blue Ridge. So what are the steps you guys take on making selections on what you want to plant here at the vineyards?
Wow, such a great question, Tess. Good to see you. Good to see
I know.
you. Good to see you. You know, planting a vineyard, you want to make sure that you want to grow what nature wants to grow, not what you want to grow.
Right. Okay.
Right. So a lot of winemakers, they think, all right, I like to drink Cabernet, I like Merlot, I like Chardonnay.
Right.
They go out in the field and they work like crazy to plant a vineyard like this.
Right.
You are hundreds of hours into it, and like you're like you can barely stand up straight because your back hurts, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't pick the right vine, you're wasting your time.
Okay.
Because I always say, if you like to eat pineapples, don't grow them in Pennsylvania. Right? And it's the same with growing grapes. You want to grow grapes that grow well in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And what I do is I take it safe. I take the safe route. I grow grapes here that can grow in Minnesota, in upstate New York, in Vermont.
Right, so they're ready for any conditions.
Exactly. If it can grow in Vermont and Minnesota, it can grow in Pennsylvania, right?
And you're in the Poconos, so it's a little bit chillier.
It's right. Exactly. I mean, here we are. It's not even Mother's Day, and everything's already blooming. I mean, our little buds are starting to push already. So if there's a frost, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everything green will kind of get burnt, right?
Right.
So we grow varieties here like La Crescent. We grow Marquette. So a lot of people don't know these. Right?
I'm not going to act like I know what that is.
Did you know there's 2,500 different varieties of vines that grow grapes and make wine?
Oh, wow.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah,
Most
that's
people,
crazy.
right. Most people know like Chardonnay, Riesling, Cabernet, Malbec, Zinfandel, Temporello.
They're the one thing,
But there's 2,500. So we planted Marquette, La Crescent, Lando Noir. We grow a lot of a grape called Aramella. Aramella, it's not widely known, but Aramella will be the next great grape in the world. I predict it. Aramella is going to be the next Moscato. I'm telling you, Aramella is such a beautiful grape. It comes out of Cornell. It is just beautiful. And it makes this very floral, bright, beautiful tasting wine. Yeah. So growing grapes, it's like growing every other fruit. Grow what Mother Nature wants to grow, not what you want to grow. And you'll be successful.
All right, so let's kind of talk a little bit about what you guys actually do to get them into the ground and the planting process here at Blue Ridge.
Oh yeah, man, I wish vines planted themselves. No. And I gotta admit, we planted 700 vines about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my
and I say we, not me. It was actually Jeff and Tony and Noah, the whole crew. They're the ones that did it.
What do days look like?
Oh my God.
Like 12-hour days.
You go to bed knowing it's torture the next day.
Yeah, you dream about it.
So planting a vine, I mean, it is challenging. So when you plant a vine, the first thing you should do is rip your rows. So I have a 3-point hitch on the big tractor, and it's a 3-foot ditch witch in a sense. So it's a big tooth that sinks down into the row, and you rip the dirt. You rip it back and forth. Some vineyards go to the extent where they'll take an excavator and they'll dig up the dirt, put it next to it, push it back in, and then plant. Because you want soft soil for the roots to push down in, right?
Oh yeah.
Because whatever's happening below the earth will be happening above the earth, and you want a great root system. And when you get your vine sent to you, there's usually about 3 feet of roots, and there's a little stick attached to it.
Oh wow. Okay.
The root system is your power horse that's going to grow your vines. And on that little stick is a couple dormant buds. Those buds are your future vines, right? So there's a give and take with this. You can work crazy hard and plant 3 feet of roots, but that's a big hole to dig, right? Or what you could do is you can cut some off and plant a little bit of it. So if you take the shortcut and you cut some off, it may take you an extra year before you get grapes. Or you could pay the price now and work hard and get grapes a year earlier. Grape growing resembles life so much. Pay now, gain later, right? The more you pay now, the more you'll gain later. So planting, and then really it's by hand. If you're doing a vineyard like this, you usually use a potato planter. So if you ever see those things?
Yes.
It's like a little box that opens up like a trench. And what we'll do is, I'm usually on the tractor, my wife is on the seat, right? And we get the vines next to her. And you spray paint the entire vineyard, so it's a big grid, and wherever the lines cross is where a plant gets dropped. Right? So that way when you look at it from an aerial photograph, it looks like this perfect grid system. It's because it's all spray painted first. So the prep work.
That's how you know you did it right.
It's one of the things. When it comes to grape growing, you prepare for success or you repair the past. And the preparation means everything. And the key to it is to not get a J root. So when it comes to grape growing, you want to make sure all your roots are facing down. Because if you put your roots in there and the roots go like this as it's going in, those roots are going to start growing up, and you got a J root, it's called. Yeah,
you have to like prepare because it's a live material, so it's going to do whatever it wants.
Exactly.
In the ground.
Yep. You want the roots spread out so they have room to grow.
Wow.
But yeah, growing. I mean, and this past year, because the vineyard is already established, we couldn't get a tractor in here. So what we did was we rented an auger. The big auger, right? And they went around, and wherever we were planting a plant, like right here's an example of one. You can see they augered a hole, that little guy right there. And then what they did was they came in the next day, put the plant in there, and then filled it in by hand. And we did 700 of them. And like I said, not me, the guys. I wish I was part of it. I wasn't here.
So we talked a little about the planting process, so now we can move into harvesting and what that timeline and what that looks like here for you guys.
Sure. Oh my gosh. So harvest, people think Christmas time is in December. No. It's September, okay? Christmas is September.
Right.
And it really is a time where it's like, oh my gosh, all the hard work that has gone in the vineyard is finally, right? It's finally going to be reaped. You're going to get the presence of the grapes. And in the beginning, you're all excited. You're out there picking grapes, and you're like, oh my God, it's like magic.
It's beautiful.
But then what happens is about maybe a month into it, if I see one more grape,
you're like,
It's like, oh my
Get
God.
on my face. Yeah.
You're like sick of grapes by the end. Your fingers are stained purple, you know, but it is like magic. You know, in harvest, you know, our grapes usually get harvest like the end of October, beginning of September.
Okay.
Because we grow varieties that can withstand negative 34 degrees, like in Minnesota, they tend to bud early and they ripen early.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and grape growing, it's very simple. So in the beginning, when a grape is first gone through veraison, they call it. Veraison is when it goes from green to purple. When a grape is green, that means there's no sugar in that berry. Okay, it's pure acid. It's all acid. In fact, if you go out in the vineyard and you pick a green grape and you bite it, it's gonna be like you know those warhead candies, right? That's what it is. Okay, the grapes are warheads. Okay, and there's been guests that go, I tasted one, it's terrible. I go, oh, it's all acid. It's all right. Then what happens is when the grape starts to go from green to purple, the term is veraison, where what's happening is the acid is beginning to go down and your sugar is now going up. You ever walk in a vineyard and see some are green, some are purple, right? Yeah. That's that process. Okay. And what happens is, as sugar spikes, acid is going down. And winemaking is just simply a balance between acid and sugar. Acid and sugar balance each other in all liquids. This is why you'll add sugar to lemonade. Lemonade has around 2 pH, and it takes around 14% sugar to balance that pH. Right. Same with grapes. So if you want to have a wine that has some sweetness to it, you're going to need some acid to balance the sugar. Right. So generally, as a rule of thumb, dry reds have a pH around 3.4. That's about what the pH of a Merlot or Cabernet is. Right. Of a sweet wine, it's closer to like 3.1. Okay, so, that makes sense. Right, depending on what you want to do with your grapes, you go out here and you're testing your acid, you're testing your sugars, because there's a give and take here, because the conversion rate from sugar to alcohol is a 0.6. Okay. So if I pick
you have to account for all of that within the
exactly. So if I pick my grapes at 21% sugar, I'm going to end around 12% alcohol. Winemaking is so goal-oriented. It's all target.
Very numbers.
It's all numbers, yeah. Okay. And the key to this is to pick random grapes, just blind. You just pick them out of the vineyard, right? You do, because if you're looking for the good ones, you're gonna have a false reading, right? So you just kind of go, yep, pick that one, okay, and squeeze it on your little. Sugar reflects light at a certain angle based upon the percentage. Okay. So I can take my little refractometer, squeeze the grape, put it on there, look through it, and it'll tell me the exact percentage of sugar in that berry. Oh my gosh! Wow. And we go through all the vineyards and we test it, and then we bring some in, we squish them, we test the acid of it, we find the pH, and once it hits the right spot, boom, we go to town. Okay. And the best time to harvest is in the morning time, because that's before the vine has maybe sucked up some more water into the grapes. Right. Because generally you want grapes that are tiny. The smaller the berry, the better the grapes, the better the wine, because it's not all water content. I always say if you have grapes that all look beautiful and they're gorgeous, they're no good. It's all water. Right. You want grapes that are struggling. It's like life. It's true, right? It's like life. You know what I mean? For real. The more you struggle, the stronger you get. Yes. Same with the grapes.
Oh
make them work for it, right?
I love
the harder they work, the better the wine is. Yeah. So you make them struggle. You make them struggle for everything but sunlight, because when you think about it, right? A grape truly is sunlight turned into wine, isn't it? In the end, that's all it is. It's sunlight turned into wine.
That's beautiful.
Really neat, right?
The winemaking process is in of itself a science known as enology, from the production of the wine, beginning with the selection of the grapes, the fermentation of the alcohol, and then the final step, bottling the finished wine.
Well, how are y'all? Thanks for being here, guys. Oh my God, thanks for coming out. We're really grateful. So all this is bottled wine, by the way. All this. There's 3 guys that work in the cellar here, Nathaniel, David, and Jaden, and these guys rock. People think there's a big processing plant for Blue Ridge. It's 3 young men, and they produce all the wine coming out of Blue Ridge. It rocks, guys. Each one of these tanks is a staging tank, and each one holds around 2,000 gallons. So when we're getting ready to bottle, we'll pump the wine into it, and then we'll homogenize it, stabilize it, get it all ready. And then if it's a white wine, it'll go through a crossflow. We filter the wine all the way down to 0.2 microns, so it's actually sterile. And the dry reds, though, they come out of a barrel right in the bottle. I don't filter dry reds at all. So if you get a bottle of Godfather or Cabernet here and there's wood at the bottom of the bottle, I do it on purpose. Pour slow at the end, okay? Some have more than others, but it's the real deal. It's authentic, right? So like when we're bottling, what we do is we pump the wine out of the bottom, goes through the pump, through the filter, and it goes in this machine. So here's bottling. By the way, you can find Blue Ridge. We're in all the Wegmans in the state, the ShopRites, the Weisses, the Hampton Hill, the hotel chains, the Crossing, got a store there. And here's how it works. Bottling's only fun for 10 minutes, by the way, then it's not. And here it is. So the bottle, what we'll do is we'll put the bottle in the machine, and the first part of the machine, it would blow nitrogen down into the bottle. That way there's no oxygen in the bottle while it gets filled. The next stop is the filling station. There's 8 heads going in a circle right here. And the wine will get pumped in down below right there. It will come up into here, and then spill down the bottle as it comes around. And it doesn't look like we're going fast, right? But if we were bottling wine right now, we would actually be filling 1,602 bottles an hour right now. We don't go this fast. This thing's called a sipper. It verifies that every bottle has the exact amount of wine in it. It double checks it by blowing nitrogen into the bottle, and then it's gonna put a cork in it right away. There's the cork, right? So at this point, we would have a bottle of wine, right? With nitrogen in the headspace. We use a natural cork in there. We work really hard on the wine. I want to present the best I can, so buy a real cork, what's up, you know? Next we're gonna put a capsule on it. The capsules are made of real metal, so you gotta spin them on. And even the label is actually a very thin piece of metal that way you can take any Blue Ridge bottle of wine, put it in ice, it's never coming off. Kind of neat, right? So here we go. Let's see if this guy works. Like that. And you're gonna see there's a red laser. The laser is gonna look at the cork. It's gonna confirm, yep, cork in the bottle, put a cap on it. There's the cap. The next stop is the spinning station where it spins it down onto it. This is where it gets all there tight and pretty. The last step is the label. A laser is gonna see the bottle, grab a hold of it, put the label on, and just like that, what do we get? We got one bottle of Godfather Air, right?
There is one more important aspect that Blue Ridge has to offer that we need to emphasize today. Blue Ridge has agritourism experiences. So for those of you who are not as familiar for what agritourism means, it's basically when you combine agriculture and tourism into one to create learning experiences for anyone who's interested in learning about agriculture. And Blue Ridge does this through the wine clubs, wine tastings, and the underground experiences, and through Randy's personal podcast. So Randy and I are sitting here and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the experiences and outlets that Blue Ridge offers to anyone interested in learning more about the art of wine and the art of living. So what inspired you to come up with the concept of the underground experience?
Man, I like that sentence, the art of wine, the underground of living. I like that. Good stuff, good stuff.
Thank you.
You know, I love that because you know, because that truly was the inspiration for the underground experience. The mission of Blue Ridge has nothing to do with selling wine.
Right.
It never has from the beginning. The mission is to add value to people's lives.
Right.
And every bit of value in someone's life has nothing to do with wine, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have signs everywhere that says enjoy life.
Right.
So I'm just like, I need to bring one of those home with me.
Great, right? And you know, every bit of value in someone's life is derived through experience with someone they love. It's always about the relationships with people around you.
Right.
So everything we do here is actually designed to bring people together to create that moment they never forget.
Right.
This is why we go to crazy extremes for atmosphere around here.
Right.
Everything's thought about, right?
Oh my
Everything.
God, yeah. I mean, even the lights
right?
that we have, like, they come on at night and it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
It makes it more of an experience.
Everything, yeah. 1.2 million lights in the vineyards. Mm-hmm. You can see it from the moon. I mean, we have so many lights that MedEd, they send me thank you notes. You know? The underground experience was born out of a need to serve more.
Okay.
It was. So, and you know, here we are, we opened the winery, we got the one building up, and then what happened was I'm talking to my wife and I go, I feel like we could do better, we could do more. We could actually create some sort of presentation that revolves around pairing wine with life. Rather than pairing wine with cheese and crackers, we'd actually pair it with what's going on in people's lives. That was the birth of the underground experience. And my wife, she's the idea lady. She goes, oh my God, we ought to build an underground room to prepare this in. I'm like, what are you, burrow? You know? God, right? You know? And then she goes, if we do that, we ought to build something that looks like tree roots have grown right in the room and they've become chandeliers. So in the underground room, we actually have trees coming out of the ceiling and the trees have like 10,000 lights on them. And in the room, the room usually seats around 42 people. Okay. And it's an hour and a half wine tasting, where what we do is we talk about the best things in life. We talk about things like hope. We talk about trust. We talk about having enthusiasm. We talk about living your life for your life's purpose. We talk about how everybody's born with dreams and hopes in them, and every seed of greatness to achieve it. Right. And by the end, people float out of the room. You'll feel so good.
You feel lighter.
Right,
yeah. That is beautiful.
Yeah. Now, the underground experience, I would encourage, if people want to book this, if you want to book it, book way out.
Yeah.
Right now, I want to say it's booked up till the beginning of June.
Yeah, I think I checked because I was like, maybe I can come back with my sister and my mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, well.
Man. It is truly the most uplifting hour and a half. I tell people when we start, I go, I want the next hour of your life to be the most uplifting, positive, enthusiastic hour of your year so far. It's high expectations, but I think we meet it and exceed it every time.
So can you also talk a little bit about the wine club benefits here?
Oh, of course. Oh my gosh, our wine club. It's called the Enjoy Life Club, right?
Right.
And what it is every quarter we do a release of a new wines.
Right.
And the wine club members are always the first to get everything at Blue Ridge. If we do a special music event where we're doing tickets, they get first dibs at it.
Yeah.
The wine club is truly a private group of people that can join Blue Ridge.
Okay.
Come out once a quarter. We do a Sally and Lizzie, oh my God, they're the ones that make it happen.
Yeah.
They throw a big giant party in the big tent over there. We cater it in, people come out, they enjoy the afternoon, they get their bottles of wine, and we talk about the magic of Blue Ridge. And the wine club is truly a way to bring the magic of Blue Ridge into your life every single quarter of the year. It's really a fun thing. It's more than the wine, it really is. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're around people who just want to have fun and like through, not just get through life, enjoy life.
Yeah.
And that's
No, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, the wine club is, man, a lot of them join us for harvest.
Yeah.
You know, they're out picking grapes.
Oh.
You know, it's truly it's a tight-knit family
very
of Blue Ridge.
too. There's so many different things you can do. That's great.
Yeah,
I love that.
Great stuff.
So what was the motivation behind creating your podcast, and what is kind of, one takeaway you wish people could have when listening to your podcast?
Sure. Wow. Yeah. So the podcast is called Living on Purpose.
Right.
You can find it on every platform out there, right?
Yes.
And the mission of that podcast is to add value to people's lives.
Right.
It was born out of necessity. Remember when COVID hit?
Yeah.
Everything got shut down.
I
But I'm like,
know.
oh my God, I'm in the
Yeah.
business of people. You know?
Right.
And all of a sudden I can't see people, talk to
Yeah.
people. So what happened was I went to Ralph. Ralph's the producer. I said, Ralph, what do you think? Let's just take everything online. And the podcast was born out of that. It truly was necessity meeting desire with the challenges of the world. And what's happened is the podcast now has a life of its own. The podcast, what we do is there's a new episode every Sunday it comes out, and we tackle the challenging topics of life. I always say people are far more alike than different. Everybody's searching for similar forms of human happiness.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's going to go through the same challenges.
Yeah.
So when I can say, yes, my name is Randy, and I've had these challenges in life, the next person could go, oh my God, I've had the same challenges. And this is what I did to overcome it. And they go, oh my gosh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and
I mean, you can create your own winery and vineyard.
Oh boy, I don't know. But I mean, like I always say, every challenge in life is simply an opportunity that life has given us to turn us into a better version of who we were yesterday. Because a lot of people get up in the morning and they think to themselves, how can I become more successful in this world? How can I have more? How can I be more?
Honestly, you're not wrong.
Well, but I can tell you, there's a better question to ask. The question I really think we should ask is, what does life expect of me? Because no one chose to be born in this world. Life chose us to be here. And since life chose us, the question we should ask is, what does life expect of me? Suddenly, when we ask that question, you become humble with a servant's heart, and every single problem you have is now an opportunity that life gave to you to turn you into a better version of who you were yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Your life fills with opportunities.
I need this written on my mirror in the morning.
It changed the game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It changed the game.
Yeah,
Like
not just getting up to get through the day, like getting up to do something.
Because now you're looking for challenges. Because think about it, if there were no problems and no challenges, there'd be nothing to do.
Right.
Every job in the world is to solve a problem. And if you can solve bigger problems, you get a bigger job. Right? You get promoted.
Right.
So us as people, we should go, I want problems. Let me look for them. And when I go, how can I serve more? It opens you up to tremendous possibilities. And it all started with my mom, Tess. It did. I was raised by a single mom. Her name is Sandy.
I saw her name on her quote.
The quote,
there.
right?
Yeah.
That quote, oh my God, Tess.
Yeah.
My mom.
You're going to make me cry. I love my mom.
My mom. My mom. My mom is, my mom decided to be a single mom when I was 7, my brother was 8. And it was one mom against the world. And mom had no education, nothing. But we were the richest poor people you'd ever meet. We were so rich in hope and trust, enthusiasm, excitement for what to be.
Right.
They say anticipation never disappoints. And we were full of anticipation of what could be.
Right.
And my mom, that quote, she would say to us every day. She would say, boys, your life is going to be simple. Because all you're going to have to do with your life is pursue all the dreams you have with every single bit of imagination that God gave you. And then don't ever, ever, ever let the false sense of fear interfere with your life. And that's the recipe for any life.
Right.
When we live with that recipe, you are destined for greatness.
I needed that.
Right. My mom would say, we are born a pile of potential. Every baby, they got nothing but potential in them, right? That's all they are. They're just laying there, they're just a pile of potential. That's all they are. And what's neat is there's the seeds of greatness buried within them. If we use those seeds of greatness and we just like the grapes, you take care of it every day and you feed the good, the clean, the pure, the positive, you will become just that.
Right.
They always say in life you can only see what you're looking at. And if I'm looking at the greatness, I'm going to see it. If I'm looking at the negative, that's all I'm going to see. The whole key to life in the end is to never allow the negative on the outside to get on the inside of us. That's the key.
That's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and it really ties in with what you do here. Like, you're nurturing, you're caring, you're growing life here all the time with just the vineyards and even with people. Like, it really, everything goes hand in hand. So
it does, yeah.
I really appreciate you talking on that point. We had a great day today. We definitely learned a lot about wine production, winemaking, and the numerous kinds of outlets Blue Ridge has created to advocate and learn about wine within an agricultural setting. I know I learned a lot, and I have a completely new perspective on wine after today. Anyways, a huge thank you to Blue Ridge Estate Vineyard and Winery for allowing us to record, edit, and post this adventure to YouTube. And also a huge thank you to Randy at Blue Ridge for participating in this interview and creating these beautiful experiences for wine lovers. Also, thank you to all of you out there for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give us a big thumbs up. And if you enjoy this type of content on this channel, please subscribe to Agaholics and ring the bell for notifications for when new videos are posted to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to go outside today. I'm Tess the Agriculturalist.
If anyone knows someone turning 20 years old, bottle of air? Anyone? Yeah, I know, right? It's terrible.